advertising, rural marketing, public relations, and newspaper technology management, both at the grassroots and policy levels. He became a CEO at age 31 and an entrepreneur at age 44, setting up his own agency, Anugrah Madison Advertising. He served for many years as the India representative of the Singapore-based AMIC, and through AMIC, he brought to India One IFRA, which has strengthened newspaper technology in several states of India. Rajan has been a source of strength to the Roundtable and Rotary movements and created a strong impact on both. You know about his work for RCMS over the past 40 plus years as an ideator, builder, and mentor. He has helped both the Advertising Club and Roundtable India to construct their own buildings. He has been honored with major awards by Rural Marketing Association of India, One IFRA, and Roundtable. And for the past several years, he has shone as a writer and brought out as many as 10 books, the latest of which is a novel. He has helped young women writers through a trust to perpetuate the memory of his wife, Prabha. One reason for his dynamism, energy, and his success is that he gets up at 4:30 every morning when most of the world is asleep. He has done so all his life. Let us now hear from him firsthand about his many lives. Over to Rtn R V Rajan.
Thank you, Beena. And I must tell you, I was surprised when I received the introduction written by our inimitable Madhu. It almost read like a mini biography of RVR. No, that's what it normally does. And a lot of things I myself didn't know. He said it all in that biography. The talk is titled My Most Exciting Career Experiences. I thought I'll mix it up, as Meena said, with some experience in my real life also. Because I have led a very colorful life. Being an ad man and being involved in so many organizations, it has been an eventful life. So it'd be difficult for me to compress it in such a short time, but I will try my best. But before I start on talking about the anecdotes, I thought I'll share with you some of my beliefs in life. Right from the beginning, I have been a big dreamer. I dream of big dreams and go after my dreams like a madman. In fact, I like challenges. I constantly challenge myself. At 80, I've written my 10th book, a novel, which is sixth out of several genres, the sixth genre of writing that I've done. The next time I'm planning to take up translation job from Tamil to English. Next project is going to be that. So I'm trying to constantly challenge myself. And I always pray God. I used to pray God until the age of 65 when I retired. God, give me lots of problems. Give me the courage to face them and make my life interesting. So that is why, with courage as my companion, which is also the title of my autobiography, I have faced all problems in my life. In fact, today I don't say, give me all the problems. Today I pray to God, God, take me with my shoes on. And to make it easy for him to take me with my shoes on, every morning I walk with my shoes on the beach road. So that he has an opportunity if he wants to take me away with my shoes on. Well, I also don't believe in being an also ran in life. You know, in fact, I tell my children also, don't be also ran in life. I like to leave my footprints on the sands of time of every institution that I've associated with. This is something which I believed in and sincerely try to follow it. As Madhu had mentioned in the introduction, I believe in God. I'm total surrender to God. I don't believe in rituals, but I'm mad about my belief in God. But I also know that God helps those who help themselves. I don't leave it to God and sit quiet. I constantly am making efforts to ensure that God helps me in the process of my prayers. Now let me share with you some of the interesting anecdotes of my colorful life. As I've always been telling many people, in the long life that I've led, I've done it all, seen it all. Of course, all that I've captured in my candid autobiography, which many of you might have read, some of the anecdote that I may be sharing with you today. Some of you may be aware of it. I'm hoping that you would have forgotten them, and hoping that some of the newcomers whom I see in this crowd, I'm keeping the gallery view in my front so that I can see faces. Otherwise, it's very difficult to address a crowd on Zoom. So, right from the childhood, I've been an enterprising guy. Enterprise and enthusiasm have been hallmark of my life. In fact, my mother used to tell, ஒரு நிமிஷம் கூட சும்மா இருக்க மாட்டேன், ஏதோ நோண்டிட்டே இருப்பான். That habit, even now I've got, I can't keep quiet. I'm always restive. One example I will tell you, I also like to face problems squarely. I don't live with the problems. Two things I don't do. I don't like to duck and dodge a problem, because I believe the moment you do that, it keeps hovering around you. If you face it squarely, take the bull by the horns, you move forward, go to the next problem, and keep the life interesting. Very early in life, one such problem, I won't say problem, a kind of a desire in me rose. I was hardly 10 or 11 years old, and I found that, like millions of children, even today, I used to sit on the floor and do all my homework. I mean, no question of table, chair, no sofa at home, the one-room chawl that I lived. No basic communities which we take for granted today were available at my home. Both myself and Seshadri have gone through that phase of our life when we lived in Bombay Chawl. So I had dreamt of getting a table somehow. See, I used to deal with my neighborhood fruit vendors. Next to my building was a fruit market. In fact, I used to make paper bags, sell 12 bags for 2 annas, and go and eat masala dosa, dosa, sada dosa, and opposite Sharda Bhavan. So I had become friendly with those guys. I found that very often, after they take out the fruits, the dealwood boxes will be broken, and they'll be all lying in pieces. So once I went to a guy, asked him, "Can you give me 3 equal sized pieces?" So I brought them home. With the nail and the hammer, I assembled the table. 2 sides, one top. A table was ready. No chairs at home. There was a stool, single stool. I sat on the stool and started writing on it. What a joy I felt! My God, there's something which is impressed in my memory. I will never forget that scene. That's the kind of person I am. I don't live with the problem. I like to see how I can solve it. Next thing is, when I wanted to get into college, like all the parents, my father thought I'll take up science, go to engineer, become an engineer or a doctor. I said no, I will go for commerce, because the commerce college was also very nearby, and I knew I could get admission. More than anything else, I knew there's a subject called salesmanship and publicity. Already I had become kind of a writer in Tamil among my student days. I used to write short stories and plays and act in plays, but all in Tamil, not in English. So I thought that will offer me an opportunity to pursue my creative interests. So luckily, throughout the 4 years, salesmanship and publicity, I got the maximum marks, and that created an interest in me for taking up. Somebody told me advertising will offer you an opportunity like that to pursue your interest in creativity. As luck could have it, even before I completed my course, I found that Bharti Vidya Bhavan had started the first ever course in the PG diploma course in advertising in PR. So immediately after BCom, instead, my father thought I'll go for MCom and maybe do IAS. I was not an IAS material at all. I was an average student, never a bright student. I used to pass exam, that's all. I said no, I'll take up advertising, thinking out of box, because advertising was not a career those days, especially for people from lower middle class family. Out of question. Only people with social standing could get to advertising and prosper. Anyway, as a dreamer, I said I will. I got into it, and as luck could have it, before I finished my PG diploma course in Bharti Vidya, and that's where I met my friend Madhu. I was doing the advertising course, as I mentioned in his introduction. He was doing journalism. We became friends then. Even before I finished my PG diploma course in advertising, I was delighted to get 2 offers from the 2 top agencies in the country. One was from Clarion McCann, which was based entirely on my merit, all India interview and all that stuff. Another was JWT, the leading agency. The chief executive had come to inaugurate an exhibition on advertising, which I had organized in my old college, where I was a tutor. He was so impressed with my initiative, he offered me a job. He said, it's a privilege to work in Thompson's. We will give you a stipend of 60 rupees, he said. On the other hand, I had got an offer from Clarion for 250 rupees as a trainee. Obviously, the money mattered to me. I jumped and took up the offer. But I must tell you a small story about the interview that I went to attend in Clarion, Calcutta, which is the headquarters. I had passed the initial test, first interview in Bombay over. The company was giving us the money to travel by train to go to Calcutta, where they were putting us up, and big interview there, group discussion, 2 days interview. The problem is, I was going for an interview. I used to be thin fellow those days, not like what you see me today. And somebody said, you must have a jacket. Without jacket, they won't, you won't be accepted for the interview. What do? I don't have money to buy a jacket or stitch a suit. Idea, think out of the box. I went to the laundry nearby, in the same building there's a laundry. I asked the guy, can you help me? I've got a problem. So no problem, sir. Look at the row of these jackets you see here. All these have been lying here for last God knows how nobody is coming to claim. Choose here, pick your choice and take it with you. Keep it as long as you want. Just give me so much money. That's all. Unfortunately, there's no jacket which fitted me properly. It was a little oversized jacket. Anyway, I took it and traveled all the way to Calcutta. At the interview, when I was sitting, there were 10 other people. Myself, one more boy from Madras, from Bombay, Raghunathan. He was interested in market research. Two of us went from Bombay to Calcutta for a job interview. I found all the other guys were smart guys, all suited, booted, all from St. Stephen, St. Xavier's, you name it, children of all big people, professionals, I got nervous. My God, where is the chance? Looking at these guys, no chance at all. But I had done a course in advertising. So when the group discussion came, I scored all of them. Even before I left the city of Calcutta after the interview, I was told by one of the directors that you're getting the job, wait for the offer. I was mad delighted. I had not even completed my course, PG diploma. I had a choice of 2 jobs, and I had 1 job in the bag. I accepted it straight away. The next episode is I went to Calcutta for 3-month intensive training, because at that time Bombay office of Clarion was booming because of McCann collaboration. A lot of clients were coming into Bombay office and they needed staff urgently. So my training was cut short from 1 year to 3 months. The other 3 trainees, all Bengali guys, they went through the training for a whole year. So I was sent to Calcutta for training. Young fellow, bubbling with enthusiasm, dream job, all that fine. One evening, one of the guys, one chap I know, Money, he was a account executive there. I was still a trainee. He said, Rajan, if you want to be successful in advertising, you must learn to drink. I said, drink? I have not touched drink, typical attitude, middle class. I said, no. You come with me. He took me to the new talkies. I don't know all of you know. Sorry, in Lighthouse Cinema in New Market in Calcutta. And there's a bar attached. He gave me a glass of beer. I found it bitter. I just couldn't gulp it. Great difficulty in 1 hour. I consumed the one glass and I thought I'm high. So you realize the effect of the first drink. So he said, no worry, Pop. It'll be all right. Don't worry. You're not drunk. We'll walk up. Some Chaurangi, he made me walk up to Taliganj along the tram track. Anyway, I felt all right. The real story is at the end of 3 months, not only I was trained reasonably to be a starting advertising executive in Clarion, Bombay, but I had learned the art of consuming 3 bottles of beer without getting knocked off. That's an important plus point that I gained during the 3 months of training. And that also led to my putting on weight. The Murugan Lodge in Calcutta, what my mother could not do all her life, helping me trying to put on weight. Staying in Murugan Lodge in Calcutta, Lake Market did it for me. So that is the story of how. Incidentally, I was just going through records. I started drinking on 11th April 1964. I gave up drinking exactly 50 years later, 2014, April 17, after my health episode and all that. So 50 years of happy fellowship.
Lost Rajan?
Yeah, I think he has lost
Or I think power went off, I think.
Power went off in this place, I think.
Yeah.
If someone could call him and ask him to come on his handphone rather than laptop.
Not muted. Anyway, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can't hear you. Anybody else can speak? I can hear.
Sir, another 5
We
minutes.
can hear you.
Okay,
We can hear.
fine.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
I would like to conclude with one episode involving my family life with my wife. Beena knows about it. Some of the other people, old timers, will know about this. How Prabha Rajan became a writer. It's a story, an example of thinking out of the box. The extreme you can think of is what I did that with Prabha. I think it was year 1987. My parents had come back from Bombay to stay with me, with my family. I had only got 3 children, 2 daughters, teenage children, and my son, who was about 7 years old. My parents, when they came to me, my house, I found Prabha was becoming tense. It became again a joint family, and she was going through depressions. So I took her on a trip to Malaysia, Singapore, came back. No chance. It's continued to be like that. But I was so busy with my round table, Rotary, and a job, and ad club, and all that. I thought, why is she behaving like this? After all, she's got a good family, 3 lovely kids, big house, car, everything. What's the problem? So I didn't even bother to connect with her. I allowed her to simmer. One day I came back from a roundtable meeting or something like around 10:30. I went to my bedroom. She was already lying down on the bed. On the pillow, I saw an envelope. I said, envelope for me. It addressed to me. I opened the thing. It was a 10-page letter that she had written to me. And the letter is all about indictment of the husband and the mother-in-law, saying, you're important. Your mother is important to you, not me. Who am I? What am I? What's my role? After all, I produced 3 children for you to look after. You don't need me. Your mother will take care of you. In that tone, typical situation where a daughter-in-law and mother-in-law have problem in that how she behaves. I was shocked. I did not react. Probably she was expecting me to explode. I didn't react at all. Both of us didn't sleep that night. I mulled over the letter. I didn't say anything to her at all. She was waiting for me to say something to her. I didn't say anything at all. After a week, I took that letter, went to the Tamil magazine, female magazine, ladies magazine called Mangar Malar. I went to the editor. I gave the letter to the editor, and I told her, read the letter. I knew her because we are giving advertising support to Mangar Malar, so I knew her. She read the letter. Why are you giving it to me? I said, what do you think of her? She said, explosive letter. It's a letter written by a lady who is in the typical joint family system, the hard feelings of the typical housewife in a joint family system. So why do you agree to me? It's your letter. So quietly, meekly I asked her, would you like to publish it? She literally jumped. How can I publish your letter? But I'm giving it to you. No, I won't do that. I want to talk to your wife before I agree to do anything like that. So I came back and I told, Prabha didn't know I had done this. I told her. She was confused. She was still in that mood. So she agreed to come with me. She told me, I given the letter, it's up to you. But I said she wants me to. I took her with me. There, the editor explained to her, this is it, your husband is asking me to do this. And I was totally surprised at her reaction. I thought she will say, no, don't publish it. She said, you can publish it, but please don't publish it in my name. Because my mother-in-law also reads that magazine, I'll be in trouble if I publish it in my name. So we agreed on a pseudonym. The article is published. I ensured that I took her on a holiday, 6 weeks holiday to America and Canada, coincided with the release of the magazine. I asked my parents to look after my kids. And those 6 weeks we enjoyed. I gave her the total attention. See, the letter gave me 2 important messages. One is, she was suffering from identity crisis. Who am I? What am I? What's my role in this? I'm nobody in this house. Low self-esteem, everything low. But on the other hand, what revealed to me was her writing talent. What Tamil she wrote. My God. As an ad man, as a creative man, I found here's a talent which needs encouragement. And rest is history. She, on the way back, she wrote another piece of article about her own daughter, teenage daughter. That also got published. I encouraged her to write short stories, started appearing. She joined Innerville. She learned English. All blah, blah, blah. She became the 31st president of Individual Club of Madras South. We both enjoyed the reputation. I was the 31st president of Madras South Rotary. She was Individual Club of Madras South. So that was Prabha, an out-of-box solution for a serious problem we face in life. How changed her life. And I began to see my wife in a different angle, and our life was different. In fact, I always would say, I fell in love with my wife after 15 years of marriage. It happened thanks to that episode and what she became. She became the dream girl she was not when I married her. So these things do happen. So with that, I would like to conclude my talk. I don't know how far I was able to share all the experiences. It's not easy. For all that, you have to read my autobiography. And more than that, you can read my blog. All my experiences have all been put in the blog as articles, both published and not published in magazines. And of course, I request all of you to buy my latest book. It's been received well. Durga Nivas, Biography of a Building. Thank you very much.
Sir, are you able to hear us now?
Yeah,
Or do we take questions? Rajan, sir.
Gentlemen, I can't hear any of you speak.
Ask questions.
Can you hear? Maybe hear from.
So,
Now, am I audible to others?
Yes,
Very much.
both
audible.
Rajan as well as you.
Very
you
much
know.
audible.
Sir, you'll have to adjust the settings. See, no, you have to increase the volume.
Can we have the talk on telephone?
He's trying
On
the
cell
other
phone?
earphone.
Cell phone of Seshadri.
Because we are not able to reach Seshadri either.
Yeah?
Seshadri's cell phone, can
Yeah,
you
no.
use?
I can hear now.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, fine.
Oh, very
Sir, I just wanted to know from others also here. Many of you all are entrepreneurs running their own units. As Rajan said, see, once he took over as the CEO, his main job was only chasing payments. That is what even I do most of my time, managing finances, chasing payments. Is that the case with everyone? I think it's very peculiar of India.
No, it is true. Because, you're chasing something which you're like, your creativity or your entrepreneurship is, sidelined because you're chasing things which you're not supposed to as a CEO.
Exactly, we're wasting time on the wrong things. I waste most of my time on meeting government's obligatory statutory requirements.
Exactly.
Very, very opaque.
Firefighting.
Payments.
Sujesh,
Yeah,
firefighting.
firefighting. And second is chasing payment. Hardly find time to do any
See,
productive work.
Sujesh, I will put it this way. See, if you leave it to your staff, okay, they run only on the day of salary.
Exactly. You can't depend on your staff to do it unless you have a very good finance person. And not all of us are lucky to have a good finance person. And
That's
if
the
you
issue.
depend on
That's the
staff, you're in deep soup because they say so much of payment to receivables and other things. And eventually, when you look into it,
And if you have an OD, that's it.
See, in business,
until it
without OD,
touches
if you
here, they will
operate, Sarwan, you being an auditor, without OD, if you operate, everything, all receivables reflect as profit. Then you know what happens.
Sujesh,
Sujesh,
what you said is right. What you said is right. You must have a good finance controller, a finance person in your organization. Then only you can. I have that experience. Once I got a good finance person, now I can, at least some part of my, major part of my, that side of activity is taken care of very confidently. So I think a finance person is very important. Finance controller. A finance controller is very important.
And just one more question, sir.
Sujesh, before
The
that,
mother-in-law- yeah, just a minute, Kalyan. It's usually the mother-in-law and the daughter-in-law problem. It's never the father-in-law and mother-in-law. Why is it? I really don't know.
Father-in-law and?
Well, the mother-in-law and daughter-in-law. The daughter-in-law never has a problem with the father-in-law.
So like father and daughter get along well. Father and daughter also get along well.
Because they spend more time together.
I have a question.
Yes,
Yeah,
Praveen.
go ahead.
Yeah, I have a very silly question. Actually, it's a very doubt. How do you manage to get up at 4:30 in the morning every day?
4 o'clock. 4
Okay,
o'clock. Some days
o'clock.
at 3:30.
Oh my
Simple.
God.
Go to bed early. Go to bed
God.
early. Yeah. I can't
Yes.
keep my eyes open beyond 9:30. Automatic closes. What come, what may. Even if I
Yeah,
sleep
but-
in the afternoon for 3 hours, 9:30 I go to sleep. No
There's
question.
a
about it.
clock setup.
I think your brother has also taken after you.
Yeah, both of us. He is my alter ego.
Yeah.
He's
And
my
you see,
duplicate.
You see, all the replies.
Better duplicate.
Yeah. His replies to all rotary mail is all timed 4:35.
Yes. Even I noticed that. Early morning he replies. Yes.
Yeah.
See,
I have a
that's
question.
the-
Your namesake.
Hey, Kalyan had a question.
Me, please.
Kalyan, go ahead.
No, I was just wanting to add, top line is vanity, bottom line is sanity, but cash is the reality. So a CEO or head of the business must really chase the cash, and we have to see the cash flow is well managed, and that is the only job of the head of the business.
Yeah,
Say my own agency,
make
Anubra,
huge
I managed to
profits.
get a good guy to help me.
Yeah,
He was a great
many
help.
people make this mistake. They think they see the profits. They don't concentrate on cash flow. Many businesses fail, though extremely good profits, they fail because of poor cash flow.
No, big companies have a great struggle of cash flow, and cash flow is the indicator for senior people in the company to get incentive.
My old boss had a simple theory. Don't tell me how much you have billed, how much you have collected, tell me. Billing may be anything. Half of them may not be collectible. So I'm not interested. Tell me how much you have collected. It's a good policy.
Correct.
But also the culture in India is such that payments are always delayed. Being a finance for about 35 years, I've already been collecting payments for 35 years. And whenever you go for payments, they always have excuses to say, and they make you run around. That's the culture here. I mean, they feel okay. It's a doable. They can get
And
postponed.
Jawahar, your main business is that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the more the payment is delayed, the more
I'm
happier
telling
he
you,
is,
no.
in fact.
I think we should give all the chief executives here and let them tell us what they chase. Maktoum, நீங்க என்ன chase பண்றாங்க?
I think we should ask Rajan some
Ask
questions.
Ranjit what he says.
Rajan sir, I have a question.
Rajan.
Tell me.
Yeah.
Rajan to Rajan.
No, Ranjit chases the neighborhood women who is giving hot coffees.
No,
Let Rajan finish his question.
Yeah. So how did you manage your inferior feelings, okay, or your inferiority, from in your first job? Though you are moving from Bombay to Calcutta, but your beginnings were very humble, right? And you were not used to.
I'm humble only.
You are extremely humble today. Okay, extremely humble. No doubt.
Tell me.
Okay, so how did you
How did I manage the transition?
Yeah, how did you manage?
A question.
What kind of difficulties you went through?
See, initially, basically, the negative attitude from management towards me. Not, I would say, negative. The fellow can wait. He's hardworking. He will not go anywhere. They took me for granted. See, but once I changed, once I realized my potential, then I started seeing when I joined Roundtable, I started seeing a whole set of bright young professionals, businessmen who are all done well or doing well. They were all in their 30s and late 30s and early 30s, And I used to visit their houses, fabulous flats. So it created a kind of feeling in me that I belong to this group now. Why should I feel small? Slowly, my self-confidence started developing. And the main thing is Roundtable, something fantastic.
Yes.
There is one organization which accepts everybody around the table as equal. I remember my friend Krishnan, father-in-law of V. Shriram, told me, why we have the table around? All of us are equal around the table. Now, if you find anybody who is a weaker guy in terms of position and all that, we should not laugh at him, put him down, but help him come up. And this is what Roundtable India did to me. Can you believe when I came to Madras, I was hobnobbing with second generation of industries. Bob Chandra, Premium Mills, Krish Chatale, all big people. They're already arrived, big people. And they accepted me as their equal. And today in Roundtable, that doesn't happen. If you don't have big, deep pocket, you can't even join Roundtable.
I'm sorry, I think you kind of explain me, but I know they all have accepted you. What kind of emotions that you are going through internally? How did you manage that transition? I know people have accepted you because of your skills or your ability to interact.
One thing I always did was, in all these things, I never exploited my connections, because of which respect among all my so-called these people went up. See, this was a hard-working guy. See, when I quit my job, when a Grant took Anugrah, what happened was Grant was being taken over by Thompson. I opposed that takeover. I told my management, we can fight it. I got these offers. We can redo this because we lost the Colgate Palmolive account. So the boss in Bombay, MD was in jitters. He said, no, we can't survive with Colgate. So when they announced the collaboration takeover, I gave my resignation. I didn't know what I was going to do. Honest to God, but for the roundtablers, the kind of offers they gave me and support they gave me. In fact, they had more confidence in me than myself. I was thinking half a day consultancy, half a day business and all that. One Rotarian, one tabler came and told me, what nonsense. You don't know your potential? Come on, start an agency of your own. I will give you office space in Lord Swami building. Don't give me any rent. Telephone free. Who would say that? That kind of thing I got, and confidence I developed over a period of time. And yeah,
One last question.
I can't hear. One at a time.
What is the secret behind, you don't put the weight around your experience or your connectivity with the people or industry? You're so simple to interact with. What's the secret behind it?
No. See, I have this latest policy after Prabha passed away. Very often I think, why am I living? I've done all my duties. My children are all well children. Nobody needs me in this world. Why am I living? I say I live for others. My basic requirements are taken care of. I'm financially independent. My family is good. My children are kind to me, nice to me. Everything fine. Today, I tell people I'm available. My talent, my services, my resources, everything available. Anybody approaches me with any request for help, I never say no. Because the bank of goodwill that I have developed over a period of time is overflowing. One telephone call to somebody, connecting somebody else, 75% of them, the problem gets solved. Why not? As long as I'm providing that useful service to people, society, I feel I'm leading a meaningful life. I don't feel, why should I live in this world? No, I'm living with a purpose. And that's what I feel. I don't know if I answered your question, but that's what I feel.
Any more questions?
Rajan,
Yeah.
ad industry is supposed to be a glamorous industry. Maybe the roundtable experience added glamour to your personality?
So, roundtable will help me get more social.
Yeah, that's also kind of a glamour.
Glamour is all outward, the hard work, like film industry.
Sure,
outward, it's
yeah.
all glamour. You go in.
Yeah. No, but they always connect ad industry to glamour.
All because of models.
Yeah, that's right.
I can give a separate talk on the models and me. And
we were expecting that, sir. I feel a bit cheated because you didn't touch the topic at all.
If you have time, one example I'll quote.
Yeah, please.
Zeenat Aman, when she came to India, I was handing Colgate Palmolive in Bombay. And she was a 15-year-old girl, come from Switzerland, where she was staying with her mother. And we were using her for Palmolive Deluxe Talc. And the press ad featured a man's arm around her neck. She came for the shooting with her boyfriend. And she refused to allow us to have the model whom we had chosen to have the arm around. No. You can't do that. My boyfriend here, he'll object. So I said, we asked her, do you mind because this is a layout, we have to have the arm around. Do you mind if you may have this thing fixed in the studio? That you do what you like. But here I can't have somebody else arm around me before this guy. So we had a cut and paste job. But you know what all she did once she became an actor? What she did to get the job in actor in the Satyam Shivam Sundaram film.
Yeah.
How she landed up in Raj Kapoor's studio, barely clad in a sari.
Okay, so that leads to another question. Usually the director gets a chance to perform for the hero to enact and repeat. Did you do anything of that kind in that shoot?
For information, when you go there, as a client service man, you are only onlooker. All that is done by the creative director.
Oh, you're more like a cameraman then. Fine. Okay.
Rajesh, you try your luck to be a creative director.
Start cut.
You don't know Sunita as much as I do, right?
Questions are getting more interesting. I think we should have more of them. 5 minutes extended session.
Anyway, we can continue a chat.
This chap, A.R. Rahman. Yeah. I dealt with him when he was Dilip. In fact, today only I was writing a story, my encounter with celebrities in life. Celebrities before they became celebrities. I was doing a radio spot for Stains Coffee. And those days, picture production or a recording studio there. That's where we used to record all our stuff. Normally, Dilip used to come only in the night after 8 o'clock, after finishing his duty with, Raja. So we were waiting for him. He walked in. And he was the guy who pioneered the concept of composing the music, to all the background music, create the tune ready in 20 seconds, 30 seconds, the whole tune will be ready. All that you have to do was superimpose the voice. This concept he developed in this industry. So he came with this tune, he played 2-3 alternative tunes to us. I chose one, and Prabha was with me. Before the voice came, he asked Prabha to sing this song. She was maha delighted. At that time, we didn't know Dilip is going to be a big guy, someday. And the professional voice came within 45 minutes to 1 hour. The whole thing was over. I wish I had taken a photograph of that day. I could have said, no, this guy, when he was Dilip, I had worked with him and all. I could say that. Today, only you have to believe me.
Okay, now I request Parveen Babi. Sorry, Parveen.
Hey, don't worry.
Zenith Ahmed is there. Parveen Babi has to be there.
Today, so